White cake recipe. Check out these 4 recipes. Number 1. White snack cake. Ingredients: half a cup or 113 grams of butter, softened, 1 cup or 200 grams of granulated sugar, half a cup or 123 grams of whole milk, room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of pure almond extract, optional, 1½ cups or 180 grams cups cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 4 egg whites, 120 grams or 4 ounces, room temperature. Instructions: preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Prepare an 8x8 square pan with butter and flour or baking spray. Beat butter at medium speed with a handheld mixer until creamy for roughly 3 to 4 minutes. Gradually add the sugar, beating until light and fluffy. Stir together the milk and vanilla. If you are adding almond extract, add it here. Sift together flour and baking powder. Add to butter mixture, alternatively with milk mixture, beginning and ending with flour mixture. Beat at low speed just until blended after each addition. Beat egg whites on medium speed until stiff peaks form. Gently fold into batter. Pour batter into prepared pans. Bake at 350 degrees for 35 to 38 minutes or until a wooden pick inserted in the center comes out clean. Cool in the pan on wire rack for 10 minutes. Optional. Cover with white frosting. Number 2. White chocolate raspberry cake. Prep time 15 minutes. Cook time 35 minutes. Additional time 20 minutes. Ingredients for the white cake recipe: 3 cups of granulated sugar or 600 grams, 1 cup of unsalted butter, room temperature, 226 grams or 2 sticks, 1 cup pasteurized egg whites from a carton or about 7 egg whites, 235 grams, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 10 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt, 6 grams, 3 cups of cake flour, 360 grams, 1½ cups of full-fat sour cream, room temperature, 382 grams, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 grams, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, 56 grams, raspberry cake filling, 4 cups of fresh or frozen raspberries, 500 grams, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 150 grams, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 12 grams, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon zest, 5 grams, half a cup of water, divided, 118 grams, half added to raspberry mixture, half used to make cornstarch slurry, 1/4 cup of cornstarch, 31 grams, white chocolate buttercream frosting, 3 cups of unsalted butter, room temperature, 678 grams, 11 cups of powdered sugar, 1,375 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt, 6 grams, 1/3 cup of heavy cream or whipping cream, 75 grams, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 grams, 1 cup of white chocolate chips, melted and cooled, 175 grams. Instructions for the white cake layers: preheat oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Line and grease 4 7-inch pans or 3 8-inch cake pans with parchment rounds. Add the unsalted butter and granulated sugar into the bowl of a stand mixer. Beat on high speed with the whisk attachment for a few minutes, scraping down the sides of the bowl as needed with a rubber spatula. The mixture will become lighter in color as air is whipped into it. Add the egg whites and mix at medium speed until they're incorporated. Sift the dry ingredients, cake flour, baking powder, and salt into a separate bowl. Add half of the dry ingredients into the butter mixture and mix on a low speed until just incorporated. Add the sour cream, vanilla extract, and oil, and mix at a low speed until combined, scraping the sides and bottom of the bowl as needed. Mix in the remaining dry ingredients on a low speed. Divide the batter evenly between the prepared cake pans. I like to use a digital kitchen scale to weigh my pans to make sure my layers will be the same height. Bake for 40 minutes or until a toothpick comes out with a few moist crumbs. Rotate the pans halfway through to help them bake evenly. Allow the pans to cool for 10 minutes, then run an offset spatula around the perimeter of the pan to separate the cake from the pan. Place the cake layers into the freezer for 45 minutes to accelerate the cooling process. Once the layers are fully cooled, carefully flip the pans and remove the layers from the pans. Use a serrated knife to level the tops and trim the sides to remove any caramelization. Raspberry cake filling. If possible, make the raspberry filling in advance. The extra time will allow the filling to thicken and develop its flavor. Place the frozen or fresh raspberries, granulated sugar, lemon juice, and lemon zest, and 1/4 cup of water in a saucepan and heat over medium-high heat. Stir the mixture until it begins to boil. Lower the heat to medium-low and allow the filling to simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. Turn off the heat and remove the pot from the stove. Pour the filling into a metal strainer suspended over a medium-sized bowl and push through using a rubber spatula. Use a decent amount of pressure to really get all the liquid through the sieve. You should be left with about 1/2 cup of seedy pulp. In a separate bowl, make a slurry by combining the remaining 1/4 cup of water with the cornstarch. Stir until the cornstarch has fully dissolved into the water. Add this cornstarch mixture into the strained raspberry filling and stir until it is incorporated. Rinse out your pot and pour the filling back into it. You don't want any residual seeds getting into the filling. Heat at a medium-high heat and be sure to stir constantly during this stage to prevent the filling from burning. Cook until the mixture begins to boil, then reduce the heat to medium-low. Continue to stir and cook for a few additional minutes. Turn off the heat and pour the raspberry filling into a separate bowl to cool. Cover with the plastic wrap and place in the fridge for at least 1 hour or preferably overnight. Raspberry white chocolate buttercream frosting. While the cake layers bake and cool, make the white chocolate buttercream frosting. Beat the butter on a low speed for 30 seconds with a paddle or whisk attachment until smooth. Slowly add in the powdered sugar, 1 cup at a time. Alternate with small splashes of cream. Add in the vanilla extract and salt and beat on low. Mix in the melted and cooled white chocolate on a low speed and scrape down the sides and bottom of the bowl with a rubber spatula as needed. Continue to mix until the ingredients are fully incorporated and the desired consistency is reached. If the frosting is too thick, add in the additional cream, 1 teaspoon at a time. If the frosting is too thin, add in more powdered sugar, 1/4 cup at a time. Stir by hand with a rubber spatula to make the frosting extra smooth, then cover with plastic wrap and set aside. You will mix in the raspberry powder and additional heavy cream once the cake is crumb-coated. Number 3. A white velvet buttermilk cake recipe. Ingredients: 14 ounces or 397 grams of cake flour, 12 ounces or 340 grams of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 5 ounces or 142 grams of egg whites room temperature, 4 ounces or 113 grams of vegetable oil, 10 ounces or 284 grams buttermilk room temperature or barely warm, 6 ounces, 170 grams of butter, unsalted and softened, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Ermine frosting ingredients: 14 ounces or 397 grams of granulated sugar, 3 ounces or 85 grams of flour, 16 ounces or 454 grams of complete milk, 16 ounces, 454 grams unsalted butter room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 4 teaspoon salt. Instructions. Note: it is super important that all room temperature ingredients indexed above are room temperature and measured by using weight in order that the components mix and incorporate successfully. Heat the oven to 335 degrees Fahrenheit or 168 degrees Celsius to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. I tend to apply lower placing to prevent my cakes from getting too darkish at the out of the doors before the internal is performed baking. Prepare 2 8-inch by 2-inch or 3 6-inch cake pans with a touch leftover batter with cake goop or favorite pan spray. Fill your pans about 3 to 4 of the manner full of batter. Combine flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt within the bowl of a stand mixer with paddle attachment. Mix for 10 seconds to combine. Combine half cup of the milk and the oil collectively and set aside. Combine the closing milk, egg whites, and vanilla collectively. Whisk to break up the eggs and set apart. Add your softened butter to the dry ingredients and mix on low until mixture resembles a coarse sand, approximately 30 seconds. Add for your milk to oil, aggregate, and allow blend till dry ingredients are moistened, and then bump up to medium, placing 4 on my KitchenAid, and allow mix for 2 minutes to develop the dessert's shape. If you don't let your cake mix on this step, your cake could collapse. Scrape your bowl and then lessen the pace to low. Add for your egg white, aggregate in 3 batches, letting the batter mix for 15 seconds among additions. Scrape down the perimeters once more to make certain the whole lot has incorporated, then pour into organized pans. Bake 35 to 40 minutes until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out cleanly, but the cake has now not begun to shrink yet from the sides of the pan. Immediately tap the pan firmly on the countertop as soon as to launch the steam from the cake. This stops the cake from shrinking. Let the cakes cool for 10 minutes in the pan earlier than flipping them out. The cake will decrease a bit, and that is regular. Flip onto a cooling rack and allow cool fully. I sit back my cakes earlier than handling, or you may wrap them in plastic wrap and freeze them to trap the moisture inside the cake. Thaw at the countertop while nevertheless wrapped before frosting. Ermine frosting instructions. Whisk together your flour and sugar in a medium saucepan over medium warmness. Cook for approximately 2 minutes to toss the flour. Slowly upload on your milk, whisk to combine, and bring your warmness to medium-high. Whisk continuously until aggregate is thickened and pudding-like. Cover with plastic wrap and permit cool. Add your butter to the bowl of your stand mixer and whisk on excessive until mild and fluffy. Slowly upload for your cooled flour mixture 1 spoon at a time as you whip. Incorporating slowly ensures a smooth buttercream. Add on your vanilla and salt until the entirety is creamy, and then you could frost your cooled cake. Number 4. White layer cake with whipped cream buttercream. Prep time 20 minutes. Cook time 28 minutes. Total time 48 minutes. Ingredients for the cake: 2 cups or 240 grams of all-purpose flour measured properly, 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of cornstarch, 1 3/4 cups of 350 grams granulated sugar, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 12 tablespoons or 171 grams of unsalted butter softened to room temperature, 1 cup or 240 grams of heavy cream room temperature, 6 large egg whites room temperature, 2½ teaspoons of vanilla extract, whipped cream buttercream, 4 cups or 480 grams of powdered sugar, 1 cup or 113 grams of unsalted butter softened to room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, a pinch of salt, 1/4 to 1/3 cup, 60 to 79 grams of heavy whipping cream. Instructions for the cake: place oven rack in the middle setting and preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. Grease and flour, or use homemade cake release, to 8-inch or 9-inch round cake pans. In a large bowl with a handheld mixer or the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, combine the flour, cornstarch, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Blend ingredients together on low until completely combined, about 1 minute. Add the room temperature butter and beat mixture on low speed until it resembles sand. See the photo in the post text. Scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl with a spatula and mix again on low for a few seconds until thoroughly combined. Combine the heavy cream, egg whites, and vanilla extract in a large container with a spout, like a 2-cup glass measuring cup, and mix gently with a fork until blended. With the mixer speed on medium-low, add half of the milk mixture, about 1 cup, to the crumb mixture and mix until blended. Add the remaining milk mixture to the batter and beat again on medium-low until everything is incorporated. Turn the mixer off, scrape down the sides and bottom of the bowl with the spatula, and increase mixer speed to medium. Beat the batter for about 30 seconds until batter is smooth. Divide batter evenly between the two prepared cake pans. Bake cakes for about 26 to 28 minutes or until a toothpick is inserted in the center, comes out clean, and the tops are lightly browned. Remove from oven and allow cakes to cool completely on a wire rack before assembling.